We've got a feeble-minded, trigger-happy president who plunged us into a war where no threat was present, with no clear objectives and no exit plan. We need to call that what it is. That's fascism. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, a huge thank you to Prime Minister Sanchez for your vision, for your leadership, and to the people of Barcelona and Spain. Thank you.
A sitting American governor just flew to Spain and called the President of the United States a feeble-minded fascist in front of foreign heads of state. To applause. And here is the problem. This is the same man who let over $1 billion in taxpayer money get stolen from his own state while he was in charge. Not alleged, convicted, 60-plus people, a federal nutrition program. Gone. He couldn't protect the children in his own state, but he flew to Barcelona to lecture the world about protecting democracy. If you want this tracked every day, hit subscribe, because now watch how he built to that moment.
For hosting this important conference. President Lula and the dignitaries who have traveled from across the globe, who came from near and far for a very simple and beautiful affirmation that it is our responsibility to create a better and fair future for all of our people. And most importantly, thank you to all of the activists who came to this room, those who speak up daily, those who speak for those without a voice, to make sure that those in power hear the voice of the people. Now, many of you might know me as the guy who isn't currently the Vice President of the United States. And all I have to say about that is I'm very sorry about that. But unlike our current Vice President, I'm not here to arrogantly lecture or scold you. I'm not here to pick a fight with the Pope. And I'm not here to host a rally for some local wannabe dictator. Instead, I'm here to say thank you and to share some thoughts on what we can do to be part of a progressive movement that moves all of our countries forward. The way we can rescue ourselves from these wannabe authoritarians in your country and in mine. You may know I'm lucky enough to be one of the 50 governors in the United States, but I govern the best state in the country, Minnesota. Our nickname is the North Star State. We have that name because we've always pointed the way forward. It was Minnesota's iron that forged the tanks that fought in Europe against the Nazi tyranny. It was Minnesota's farmers and researchers who sparked a green revolution to help feed the world. And it's Minnesota scientists who are transforming medicine at places like the Mayo Clinic. If you have a pacemaker or someone you know does, that's from Minnesota. Progress is part of our DNA. When we see a problem, we find a solution. And man, we are facing a lot of problems. Back home in the United States, we're seeing an alarming consolidation of power. A massive paramilitary force terrorizing our communities, which you saw in Minneapolis. A methodical weakening of our free press, of the independent judiciary, of fair elections, and all other institutions of accountability. We've got a feeble-minded, trigger-happy president who plunged us into a war where no threat was present, with no clear objectives and no exit plan. We need to call that what it is. That's fascism. Or at least it's fascist curious, as they would be. Look, it'd be easy to stand up here and just bash Donald Trump. He's an easy target. And if you know me, we don't get along very well. But we've got a lot of bigger fish and bigger problems to fry in this room. Because the truth is, authoritarianism is not just confined to the United States, it's everywhere. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the encouraging signs of people who have beat back.
Here is what that speech actually was. A man who cannot run for re-election because a billion-dollar fraud blew up his state, standing on a foreign stage, calling someone else incompetent. He bragged about Minnesota, the free meals, the child tax credit, the progressive blueprint. What he did not mention was the federal nutrition program that got looted for over $1 billion while he was governor. What he did not mention was the 60-plus convictions. What he did not mention was Congress calling him to testify. What he did not mention was the House Oversight chair saying he was either asleep at the wheel or complicit. He told that Barcelona crowd, "If you say you're going to do something, you damn sure better do it." His own state heard that line and thought about the empty daycare centers still cashing state checks.
It's not enough just to win those elections. You have got to go big, more specifically on stuff that reaches working class people. In Minnesota, we designed the most generous child tax credit in the United States. It will reduce childhood poverty by a third. We have the lowest amount of childhood poverty of any state in America in Minnesota. To the Europeans in the room, this may not sound like a big deal, but it's a damn big deal in Minnesota, in America. We guaranteed 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave for every single person in our state. It's easy there. It doesn't get done in America. We invested historic amounts in public education, and we made sure that every single one of our children got free breakfast and free lunch in every school in our state. I'm a school teacher by training. It's funny how when kids aren't hungry, they learn better. We delivered on the most expansive expansion of labor rights in America. We drove down crime in our communities, and we protected women's reproductive rights to make their own health care decisions. And we are the leading state that by 2040, we will hit our goal of 100% clean carbon-free electricity and power across the state of Minnesota. Now, you know what the result of that was? People saw more money in their pocket, safer communities, better schools, and now we're one of the friendliest states to start a business in. We are the freest state to live your life, love who you love, make your own decisions, and we're the best place in the country to raise a child. Every day, we're proving what's possible when you govern with courage and competency. And it's all because of a simple approach. You do not win elections to bank political capital to win the next election. You make sure when you win an election, you burn that political capital to improve people's lives as quickly as you possibly can. Not enough to try and save it so you get elected. Progressives have always known this. That's not the point of winning power. The power is to go as big as you possibly can with what you've been given. Making sure that we found out in Minnesota, when you do that, two things happen. When you get elected and you pass progressive policies, you get two results. We found out those outcomes are pretty darn good. The first thing it does is it improves people's lives, the people that you are trying to serve. It makes sure that you are able to deliver for them, make sure you're doing good things for the people you serve. That's the first and foremost thing. And guess what else happens after that? If you do that for people, the elections take care of themselves. That means as their lives get better, they see a direct connection for the people who voted for them in a tangible way, they're going to turn around and vote for you again. A question that got asked this morning is, how do we ensure that we hold power? And I will tell the people of Spain of this. Prime Minister Sanchez and what his government has done has proven that you can not only move progressive policies, you can stay in power when you do that and get reelected. Simple rule of life, I believe this is, I'll say it, to earn people's faith back, if you say you're going to do something, you damn sure better do it, which is how you build back that political capital. It's how you hold on to power so that you can keep doing the things that make people's lives better. That's the purpose that we're here for. Now, look, that's a pretty virtuous cycle. but it takes the people who are here. It takes hard work. It's been successful in Minnesota, and I'm here to affirm to you of this. This is the process. It's what you see here. It's what you see in Brazil. It's what you're seeing starting to happen across the United States, is that we are using progressive vision to push back on this nightmare. I also have a second message here for this weekend. I know, and I can feel it in this room, you're not too thrilled with America right now. I get it. I'll let you in on this. There's a whole lot of Americans who aren't too thrilled with ourselves either right now. But the reality is this, and I want you to know this. The states that voted for prosperity, the states that voted for equality, the states that voted for a progressive agenda against Donald Trump in the last election cycle make up 2/3 of the American economy and the majority of the people. What you're seeing, and I know it doesn't make it better, but we can still be productive, progressive partners in the world. And here's the thing about our system of government. It's set up to give leaders who are closest to the people the ability to touch their lives more.
He told them to keep the pressure on. The White House. The White House froze his state's child care funding in response and deployed federal agents. He told that crowd he governs the best state in the country. He announced he would not seek a third term 3 months ago. That is not what winning looks like. That is what political cover looks like. Walz is not on a comeback trail. He is on a farewell tour dressed up as a resistance speech. He flew to Spain to perform strength he does not have, for an audience that cannot vote for him on a record he could not defend at home. The $1 billion is real. The convictions are real. The congressional subpoena is real. The speech was performance. And when the performance ends, those facts are still there. Like, subscribe, and share this. Because the gap between what he said in Barcelona and what happened in Minnesota needs to be seen.